Welcome to Science with Dr. T. This week, we'll be learning about Punnett squares. A Punnett square is a tool used to predict the genotypes and phenotypes of offspring based on the genotypes of their parents. Genotype refers to the genetic makeup, the genes. Phenotype refers to the physical characteristics expressed from those genes. A gene is made up of two alleles. These alleles can be recessive or dominant. Recessive means in order to express that trait, both alleles need to be recessive because it can be covered up by the presence of a dominant allele. Dominant traits only require the presence of one allele to be expressed. Dominant alleles are depicted by an uppercase letter, while recessive alleles are depicted by lowercase letters. When a person is heterozygous for a trait, that means they have two different alleles. When they are homozygous, both alleles are the same. Let's put these concepts into practice. One parent is heterozygous dominant for brown eyes, while the other parent is homozygous recessive for blue eyes. What percent of their offspring will have blue eyes, and what percent will have brown eyes? Okay, so let's put up our Punnett square. The question tells us that one parent is heterozygous dominant. So that means they have two different alleles, one dominant and one recessive. The other parent is homozygous recessive, which means they have two recessive alleles. Now that we've written in our parents' genotypes, we can fill in the offspring's genotypes. The top left square gets the dominant allele from one parent and the recessive allele from the other parent. The top right square gets a recessive allele from each parent. The bottom left gets the dominant allele from one parent and the recessive allele from the other parent. The bottom right square gets a recessive allele from each parent. So we have 2 of 4 offspring who are heterozygous dominant, which means they will have brown eyes like their parent who is also heterozygous dominant. And we have 2 of 4 offspring who are homozygous recessive, which means they will have blue eyes like their parent who is also homozygous recessive. So 50% of the offspring will have brown eyes and 50% will have blue eyes. Let's try another practice problem. Both parents are heterozygous dominant for big ears. If they have 8 children, how many are likely to have the recessive trait of small ears? Okay, so let's put up our Punnett square. The question tells us that both parents are heterozygous dominant. So that means they have 2 different alleles, one dominant and one recessive. Now that we've written in our parents' genotypes, we can fill in the offspring's genotypes. The top left square gets the dominant allele from each parent. The top right square gets the dominant allele from one parent and the recessive allele from the other parent. The bottom left gets the dominant allele from one parent and the recessive allele from the other parent. The bottom right square gets a recessive allele from each parent. So we have 3 of 4 offspring who have at least one dominant allele, which means they will have big ears like their parents. And we have 1 of 4 offspring who is homozygous recessive, which means they will have small ears. So if the couple has 8 children, then 1/4 is likely to have small ears, which means 2 children. I hope this has been helpful. Make sure to practice on your own with a few different scenarios until you get the hang of it. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like our videos, subscribe to the channel, and share. Next time, we'll look at codominance and incomplete dominance.